Which brings us to the case of Kyle Rittenhouse. So people are going nuts because last night Tucker Carlson had the temerity to show tape on his show that basically told the whole story of Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse is, of course, the 17-year-old young man, and I use young man advisedly because once you're 17, you are, in fact, a young man. He's the young man who shot 3 people at this riot in Kenosha. And it was pretty obvious from the tape that it was self-defense. We showed the tape at the time. We analyzed it moment by moment. Well, now there is new video of Kyle Rittenhouse. He came to this particular protest hoping to offer medical aid. Apparently what happened is that one of the people he shot was going around lighting fires. He was following them around with a fire extinguisher. At some point, the guy who was lighting the fire started chasing Rittenhouse. Another unidentified person started shooting his gun into the air. Rittenhouse was running away. He was apparently pinned between a car and one of these rioters, at which point he shot one of the rioters and the rioter died. He then tried to get to the police. He was chased down. He was knocked in the back of the head. Somebody attempted to attack him with a skateboard. Another man approached him and pretended that he was going to try and help him and then pulled out a gun. And then Rittenhouse shot that man in the arm. So he shot 3 people. 2 of them died. The one who survived and had his bicep blown off, essentially, that guy has been treated by the media as a nurse. It doesn't matter that his friend, after visiting the man who was shot, said that the man's only regret was not having murdered Rittenhouse. The bottom line is that according to the media, he's a white supremacist. There's no evidence, by the way, of white supremacy anywhere in here. None. Hey, here's some of the tape that was shown on Tucker's show last night.
To prevent the total destruction of their community, Good Samaritans united to guard local businesses. Among them was 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse.
So people are getting injured. And our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle, because I need to protect myself, obviously. But I also have my med kit.
All 3 of the people who were shot in these particular circumstances were people with significant criminal records, which does not mean that they necessarily should have been shot. It does mean that if you're going to talk about the character of the people who are being shot versus the person who is doing the shooting, there's a wide disparity in character. Okay, the tape, again, shows what happened, and what it shows is that it's going to be nearly impossible to convict Kyle Rittenhouse of murder, especially given the fact that Rittenhouse then, after the first shooting, attempted to go to the police and surrender to police and inform them what had happened. Here's a little bit of the tape of the first shooting.
As Richard McGinnis began tending to Rosenbaum, Rittenhouse returned to the scene and began placing a call for help. As the mob begins calling for the attack of Rittenhouse, he is forced to flee the scene.
That dude shot him. That just shot that dude.
You shot him?
I didn't. No.
Where were you? Where were you?
Okay, so he runs away, and then obviously the next shootings take place. The way that the media have treated this is that he went to kill. Okay, there's no evidence at this point that Rittenhouse went there to commit murder. In fact, the evidence pretty strongly shows he went there in order to perform other functions. Should he have been there? The answer is no. I've said from the very beginning, Rittenhouse shouldn't have been there. Does that mean that you get to nail the guy on a first-degree murder charge? Absolutely not. But again, in order to whitewash Black Lives Matter and pretend that Black Lives Matter is a wonderful movement and that Antifa is really not a problem, they're just anti-fascists. It is necessary to make some human sacrifices, and if those human sacrifices include people like Jake Gardner or Kyle Rittenhouse, BLM simply does not care. They simply do not care. They don't even wait for all the facts to come out at any point here, and yet they are being proclaimed by the media as a wonderful movement. Now wait, before you go, you have to know we are moving YouTube channels. Videos like this one will only be available on my personal YouTube channel, Ben Shapiro, starting September 28th. Click on the link in the description to subscribe so you don't miss a beat.